So much for giving us your time. Let's dive straight into our first query. Smriti has written to us from Pune. She currently holds 350 shares of Bank of Baroda at 210.5 apiece. She's asking whether she should hold or sell her counter. Now, the Bank of Baroda reported a weak set of quarters and, in fact, muted earnings with profit rising just about 3.3%. But Smriti, on the other hand, is sitting on a profit of about 3,000 from investing in Bank of Baroda. Prashant, how do you view Bank of Baroda's fundamental story, and should Smriti go ahead and sell the counter, or should he continue holding?
I think I will be recommending her to hold it for at least 3 to 6 months from the current levels. But already the results have been discounted in the price the day when the Bank of Baroda reported their results. So stock has drastically reacted on that. And now I think the stock price is almost settled. Short-term target would be anywhere between 240 and 250. But fundamentally, I think numbers will be better in the Q1 earnings coming forward. The way how consumption story will go forward, and as RBI has given a lot of liquidity support to the Indian economy, I think that will be triggering these PSU banks going forward. So overall, my recommendation would be hold. If he's a trader, I think 240, 250 can be a target for near term.
Okay, understood. And let's take up another WhatsApp query as well. Angel from Mumbai has written to us on WhatsApp saying that she bought 4,900 shares of NHPC at the rate of 86.29 1 week ago. So very recent purchase. The stock is now trading around 77. She's not seeing any upward momentum after the big news recently. Kindly comment on its fundamentals and technicals is her question. How much can the target price for both short-term and long-term perspectives be? Gaurav, I'd like to come on this one to you first. Just speaking about how NHPC has been technically performing, I'm sure in the past 1 week it may have not, given the kind of motivation to Angel because of the stock momentum and the kind of dip we saw. But how does the long-term story for NHPC look like from a technical standpoint?
Yeah, see, from a technical standpoint, long-term story is still intact for NHPC. Till the point the stock is holding above 70 odd levels, this is a good buy. I say for a 6 months plus time horizon, one can hold on to the position, keeping a tight closing stop loss at 68 and look for targets close to 105 and even 110.15 is also quite possible.
Okay. And also, Prashant, I'm not so sure which news exactly she is, referring to with regards to NHPC, but NHPC recently signed a pact with the government of Rajasthan for renewable energy projects as well, and is also planning to raise funds via issuing bonds. Now, do you think, these fundamental stories or news around the company has any kind of fundamental implication on the stock momentum?
No, recent news are not so negative with respect to the price correction, but price correction may be on the back of market volatility. That can be the one reason why the stock has been crashed from almost 90 to 77 currently traded today. But for me, again, fundamentally, valuations are not so comfortable at this point of time, trading at almost 25, 26 P when other power companies are available almost like 15 to 16 P available. So I think that would be one reason there can be some kind of valuation correction. If the stock comes down to near to 68 and 70, that can be a good level for a fundamental investor for a short term or to long term. So overall, I would like to advise her to wait and watch for a level of 70 and average more at those levels and then take it forward for at least 3 to 6 months.
Okay, got it. And viewers, as well as Prashant and Gaurav, I have my co-host Himakshi Bahuguna joining us at the moment. Please take away.
Yes, thank you so much, Malika there, and welcome to the show, Gaurav and Prashant. With that, let's go across to a caller joining us from Chennai. Hi, Venkatesh. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, how can I help you on the show today, Venkatesh?
I have ITC Hotel shares.
Okay.
Which I purchased at the rate of 201.
Yeah.
The quantity I'm holding is 2,300.
Yeah.
So I wish to know, I'm a long-term investor.
Okay.
So I wish to know my long-term perspective for this share. Should I hold it or should I average in this downtrend or?
Yeah. Understood your query. So, Gaurav, talking about the fundamental aspect, because, Venkatesh, our caller, is a long-term investor and he wants to hold ITC Hotels for a longer term. So, how is ITC Hotels positioned, in the premium and luxury hospitality space post the demerger from the ITC?
See, total, industry placement wise, if we talk about it, it is among the topmost available. Now, when we talk about the price placement, the chart placements, yes, it is available at a very good, attractive price. After the recent cut from 210 levels, the stock is currently trading around 180, 185 zone, which is a very comfortable zone for a medium to long-term perspective. So he can go on investing. Yes, the next question he asked was whether he should consider averaging it. Yes, he can even consider averaging the stock here.
Okay, got it. And Prashant, I would want to get your view quickly on hospitality as well as the tourism sector, because a lot of stocks in this domain, right from Thomas Cook to Indian Hotels, all of these stocks are seeing some kind of pain because of the current escalations between India and Pakistan tensions. How do you see the impact of these tensions on stocks that come from this space?
I think it would be a limited worry for these sectors like hospitality or airlines, the way what is happening in and around India, Pakistan. So hotel sector, airline sector, tourism sector will obviously have a direct impact for at least for 1 or 2 quarters from the current levels. But again, hotel with respect to the long-term story, I think it's very much intact. And Indian Hotels, ITC, Lemon Tree, these are the 3-4 hotels which should be a preferred portfolio stock for long-term investors. But ITC again, with respect to valuation, very much comfortable at a level of 170 and 180. And as a long-term investor, again, 240, 260 can be a first target for next 12 months. Overall, hospital sector will see some kind of downtrend in the short term, but again, long-term story is intact.
Okay. And now we have Teja. She's calling us from Nellore. Hi, Teja. Good evening. Teja, can you hear me? Hello, Teja. Okay, not an issue. Teja currently holds 6,000 shares of Trident at 53 rupees a piece. The stock is trading around 26 and saw a dip of about 3.88%. And Teja is also sitting on a massive loss of 1.5 lakh rupees. Prashant, given how Trident posted its Q4 results and plus the amount of loss that our viewer is sitting on, what would your suggestion to Teja be?
Numbers were almost like in line with what markets are expecting, but with respect to valuation, still it is not trading at a very cheaper one. Currently trading at almost like 40 P plus, and with respect to ratios like ROC and ROE are still not so comfortable to justify these valuations. So I think there will be a more consolidation in terms of business as well as the prices. So I would like to advise the client to wait for at least 1 or 2 quarters to stabilize the business model, and then I think the way how the UK and India trade deal has done 3 to 4 days back, I think there will be some kind of business uptick coming forward, at least for second quarter of this financial year. So wait and watch would be the approach, and average if there is a possible extra capital with him.
Thanks for that view, Prashant. And just a quick reminder for our viewers, this is your chance to get all your stock-related queries answered. So please pick up your phones and call us right away. The numbers are there on your screens flashing up and down. So please just pick up your phones and call us. We are waiting for your calls. And with that, we have a WhatsApp query. Prabhakar Huzur Nagar has written to us saying that he holds 1,475 shares of Morepen Lab at 59.50. He hasn't mentioned the time horizon as to he's a long-term investor or a short-term investor. So I'd like to take both the technical and fundamental view on the counter. First, starting up with Gaurav. Gaurav, on the fundamental front, are you positive on Morepen Lab and should he stay invested in this counter?
Yes, Morepen Lab looks upbeat at current levels. Trading just around the confluence zone of its important crucial moving averages, which I see it will comfortably surpass, which are placed around 62 odd levels, and currently the share is quoting around 57. So these are good attractive levels. If the viewer is having some spare capital, he can even consider averaging it.
Understood. Thanks for that view. And Prashant, on the technical front, how is it faring on the charts?
There are some kind of negative trends still. I think Q4 earnings are still due, so there may be some kind of expectation of a lower profit margin as well as volumes in Morepen Lab. So I would like to be, on a wait and watch mode. Let's watch how Q4 earnings will come, and then later take a call. So at time being, I think that the trend would be negative, and it is headed towards 52 and 51.
Okay, got it. And now we have another WhatsApp query. Rohan has written to us from Pune. He currently holds 8 shares of Dixon Technology at an average price of 14.6 thousand rupees, and the stock is now trading around 15,190. He's sitting on a handsome profit as well. He's asking whether he should add, sell or hold his positions from a medium-term perspective. Now, Prashant, how does Dixon Technology look to you, and what would your suggestion to Rohan be? Because while it did see, a fair bit of upward momentum, and that too consistently till December of 2024, but the stock has been showing some sign of weakness after that. How does the future of Dixon Tech from a fundamental perspective look like to you?
I think near term there may be some kind of more negative trend followed in Dixon, basically on the back of the high valuation, almost 120 P it is trading around. So, and even price to book value of 40 times. So not able to justify this kind of valuation at this point of time. But again, fundamental business story, very positive, very, I think the long-term story would really be good. But I expect some more correction in this stock. I think it may come back to its own cost, that is 14,500. So that would be again a good level to start accumulating Dixon as a story for long term. But time being, there may be some kind of another 1,000 rupees fall in the price.
Understood. Thanks for that view. With that, we are joined by a caller from Bengaluru. Hi, Parshva.
Yeah, hi, ma'am.
Yeah,
very good evening.
Good
Thanks
evening.
for taking my call.
It's our pleasure.
So I'm
Please
holding
go ahead.
approximately 17,000 shares of ACL Gati, that's Allcargo Logistics Gati, with an average price of 78.5. I'm looking for a long term, say at least 2 years or even more. I can hold it.
Yeah.
So, but I genuinely want to understand like how is the future prospects of the company, and should I hold it? Should I sell it? Like,
Yeah. And Parshva, when did you purchase these shares?
I've bought them in slots, ma'am. I all through during the fall. If you can see the chart, I'm just buying it at multiple different levels, ma'am. But my average price is 78.5.
Okay, but on an average, for how long have you been holding these shares?
It's been like I think 10 months or a year probably.
A year.
The first buy was a year back, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
But since then, I'm just buying that share.
Understood.
In every day.
Because I'm asking you this question because I can see that you are sitting on a significant loss of over 3 lakhs, nearing 4 lakh rupees. So I'll get your query answered. Gaurav, coming to you, is it advisable for Parshva to stay invested in this counter for long term? Considering that he is sitting on a loss of approximately 4 lakh rupees there.
See, I think I will negate the loss figure here and still concentrate on the business model valuations and the levels where the stock is poised at as of now. Things are not looking good. It is hitting lower lows from quite some time, and all the recent tops have been sold off. Still, the stock is not recovered when the index has seen a reasonable recovery from 22,000 to 24,000 plus levels now. So I would suggest it is better to, start offloading the position, reduce the position. Stock is not looking good.
So the stock is not looking good is what Gaurav is suggesting. And Prashant, what's your view on the counter? Are you slightly do you see any sort of upward momentum for the short term so that, he can reduce his losses?
I agree with Gaurav again. I think the near-term outlook still looks very uncertain for the stock to recover. If by any chance, if market recovers and there can be some kind of uptick in the stock, 60, 62 levels that can be used as offloading the positions and slowly exiting the stock and go for a better fundamental strong stocks. But time being, valuations are not supporting, ratios are not supporting, ROC, ROE, and they're all trading negative. So for me, business outlook looks very gloomy right now. So my advice would be again, any uptick in the stock, use that opportunity to exit the counter.
Okay, understood. That's the view on Allcargo Logistics, and now we're being joined by Loknathan from Cochin. Hi Loknathan, good evening.
Yes, madam. Good evening, madam.
Please ask your question, Loknathan.
तो 4,000 शेयर मैडम वोडाफोन का थोड़ा लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए इन्वेस्ट कर दिया मैडम अभी उसको लॉन्ग टर्म मैडम 4 years 5 years
समझी, ठीक है। और आज आप जानना क्या चाहते हैं वोडाफोन के बारे में?
वोडाफोन के बारे में
आपका सवाल क्या है?
हम लॉन्ग टर्म अभी वोडाफोन 4,000 शेयर हम परचेस किया है। हम नेक्स्ट 5 year के लिए कुछ लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्ट के लिए ऐसा बात कर।
ठीक है, ओके, गॉट इट। No issues. So, Loknathan from Cochin currently holds 4,000 shares of Vodafone Idea at 7.76 rupees a piece. The stock is now trading around 6.7, so almost just a rupee less from Loknathan's buying price. Prashant, Vodafone has not been doing well, of course, for a very long time because of multiple reasons, and recently also lost about over 5 lakh subscribers. Now, given these fundamental headwinds for the company, do you think it is prudent to stay invested in Vodafone, in Loknathan's case, for the next 5 years?
I think Loknathan has taken a very high risk and high return kind of stock in his portfolio. But he's saying he would like to stay with the stock for 4-5 years. So I think that would be a good view. There may be some kind of new strategic investments coming down anytime in the business model. So I think that would be one trigger for the stock. But again, downside is also open. 4 to 5 rupees can be a price which can also be seen because the month-on-month numbers are not looking good. The results are not so looking good. But obviously, the industry is growing very fast. And if you would like to just hedge the investment, I think you should better invest in Bharti Airtel, at least for having a good fundamental strong stock. If something comes very positively supported by the government, so that would also help Vodafone as well as Bharti Airtel to recover the losses. So my advice would be, again, if he's a long-term investor, yes, add more if it comes down to 5 rupees. But obviously, it's a high risk and high return category is already taken into his portfolio.
Understood. Thanks for that view, Prashant. With that, we are joined by a caller from Hyderabad. Hi, Vijay. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, how can I help you?
Yeah, I am holding 300 shares of KRN Heat Exchangers.
Okay.
At price 830.
Okay.
I want to hold for a long term.
Okay.
So I want technical and fundamental.
Understood. So, although Vijay wants to hold KRN Heat Exchangers for long term, but he needs to know both the technical and fundamental view on the counter. Starting with you, Gaurav, compared to its peers, how do you see KRN Heat Exchangers, been positioned currently?
KRN is well positioned here, trading just at just over its 200-day exponential moving average, which is a positive sign, as this average will provide the needed support and will restrict the downside movement. So if it is for a short to medium term position, I suggest him to take a stop at 675, hold the position and look for targets close to 1,000 levels in the coming 1 to 2 months.
Okay, and Prashant, if we talk about key support and resistance levels for KRN Heat Exchangers, so what would that be?
I think again the 200 DMI, which is at 715, that can be a key support for the stock. If the stock goes down below 200 DMI, there can be more selling pressure coming in the counter. But again, with respect to resistance, again the 50-day DMI, which is at 808, that can be the resistance for the stock. But overall, the trend is very positive. Fundamentally, the story is really good for a long-term investor. But again, valuations of more than 100p is not justifying me to advise him to add more at this point of time. So obviously, he is in loss right now. 50-day DMI would be the target for him at least, and then we can think what to do next. So time being, hold and wait for his cost of recovery.
Okay. Wait and watch on KRN Heat Exchangers. And now we've been joined by Amol from Noida. Hi Amol, good evening.
Hi, good evening everybody.
Good evening. What's your question, Amol, today?
Yeah. So actually I bought Voltas,
Okay.
50 shares at 1235.
Okay.
And I need a short-term view.
And I just want to know whether the bottom is formed for this Voltas share because it was in correction from last few days.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's right. Did you buy these shares today?
Can we say bottom is formed and can we add it?
Amul, did you purchase?
No, actually I bought yesterday.
Okay. So right after the results were announced.
Right.
Okay. Gaurav, Amul from Noida currently holds 50 shares of Voltas at 1,235 rupees a piece, and the stock has been showing some sign of strength, especially in the past 2 days after a good set of Q4 numbers, where the bottom line grew by 104%, if I'm not wrong, and this was largely driven by its electronic segment. So, how does Voltas look to you, and do you think, going by Amol's question, has the bottom already been formed?
I would suggest that he should hold on to his position. The upcoming quarters are the seasonal quarters for this stock, and it is likely to perform better than what it has performed in its preceding quarters. So it is better to hold on with the position. The stock is trading close to its support levels as well, which is somewhere around 1140 to 200 is a very good support zone for this stock. So a bounce is pretty much likely. Having said that, even if some kind of a dip comes into this stock with respect to the market tumbling, overall market tumbling down, then also he should hold on his nerve, and if he is having some spare capital, then that is the time to average it out.
Understood. Thanks for that view on Voltas, Gaurav. Now we are joined by a caller from Chandigarh. Hi, KK Sharma.
Hi, madam. Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to know, can I invest in Canara Bank at the current price, or should I wait, and what can be its target in the coming year?
Okay, Mr. Sharma, are you a long-term investor or a short-term investor?
Yes, I am long-term.
Long-term investor. Understood. And why Canara Bank in the whole banking space?
They are, I would say, they are reasonably priced, plus dividend high, good dividend paying, and plus they are all stable now, I think, PSUs.
Understood. Okay, so Gaurav, talking about Canara Bank, are you bullish on this bank in the whole banking space? And because, it came out with its Q4 results, and the results were pretty good. So on that front as well, how are the fundamentals of Canara Bank looking like?
Canara Bank is doing good. I like the stock at current levels, currently trading at a lower valuations. PE is around just about 5, pretty cheap. On the technical chart fronts also, the stock looks upbeat, all set for up move towards 110, 115 levels in the near term, and with a year and a half perspective, even 120, 125 can be expected. So yes, he can hold on to his position.
Prashant, for those who want to enter the stock for a short term, so are these the correct levels to enter?
Yes, the stock is trying to close above its 200 DMI. That would be the right way to look at this stock. So for me, a near-term target of 105 and 115, this can be a near-term target for that. Again, in terms of fundamental valuations, again, price to book value is below 1%. So again, that is also giving me a lot of comfort level for advising client to add more or hold with a target of at least 105 and 115.
Okay, understood. And now we have a caller called Raj from Hyderabad. Hi Raj, good evening.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Please ask your question.
Raj from, my query is regarding Kalyan Jewellers.
Okay.
I have around 494 exactly. And
okay.
I bought average price of 519.75. It's been a month, around 30-40 days.
Okay.
So, and I think we got a pretty good result as of my knowledge. So, I'm here for 3 months. I can hold it for 3 more months. So
okay.
I need a short-term,
advice on this one. Okay.
Can I hold it, or should I add more, something like that?
Understood. Got it. Gaurav, Raj from Hyderabad currently holds 494 shares of Kalyan Jewellers at 519 rupees a piece, the price at which it is trading even today. What would your technical advice to our viewer be? And what is your target price for the next 3 months for Kalyan Jewellers?
First of all, I am not a great fan of this stock. Never liked it, but it is just trading below the resistance zone, that is 540 odd levels. Stop loss is also pretty nearby, so I would suggest that he should take a stop at 480, hold on to the position, and expect the stock to surpass 540. If that if that happens, then it can accelerate further towards 580, 600 zone. So that's the hope one can have. Otherwise, Titan is the best pick, came up with the numbers, very well numbers. So, and likely to move ahead as well. So switching is another option that you should consider.
Okay, okay. And Gaurav, just a follow-up. You said that you've not liked this stock. I would like you to substantiate on the reason why.
See, generally, we haven't tracked it off late. When we have a space like, Titan with it, which is having the Tanishq brand, the largest player in the industry, doing good, phenomenal performance, and a diversified company as well. So stock like a Kalyan one, trading at 800 in the month of early this year rather, and then slipped to just continuously went to half of that level to 400 and then trading sideways. So these are not signs of a very good quality stock. So that is where we mean that I generally do not prefer it because such high volatility stocks.
Understood. We acknowledge your view there, Gaurav. With that, we have a caller joining us from Mysuru. Hi, Sanjay. Good evening.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, how can I help you on the show today, Sanjay?
Ma'am, KPI Green energy stock 800 quantity. Average price 600 rupees.
Okay.
August month 2024 buy, ma'am.
Yeah.
Short term 1 year, ma'am. Profit loss, ma'am, 2 lakhs, ma'am. Seller hold, ma'am.
Yeah. Understood. So, Sanjay, are you a long-term investor or a short-term?
Ma'am, short term 1 year.
Okay. So, Prashant, Sanjay bought KPI Green shares at 800 rupees. Currently, it's trading. 600 rupees, and currently it's trading at 348. So it has fallen sharply. So what suggestion do you have? Do you see any sort of uptick movement there so that he can actually bring down his losses, because he's sitting on a loss of over 2 lakh rupees there?
I think fundamentally there is a lot of issues in the company. If you see quarter-on-quarter numbers, the EBITDA margins are coming down from 38% in June quarter, and I think in the December it was almost 30%. So even Q4 earnings are looking very bad at this point of time. So the negative trend would continue in terms of fundamental. But again, with respect to valuations, the company is trading at almost 22 PE, and ROC and ROE are looking good. So I think a downside is limited from the current levels. If Q4 earnings stands to be very much neutral to positive, the stock can recover. But again, the cost of his buying would be almost like 600. That would be a very immediately. I don't expect that kind of targets in the stock, but at least 12 months and above holding, there can be some kind of recovery, but not the cost of capital.
Understood. Thanks for that view, Prashant. And viewers, with that, we'll have to slip into a short break, but keep sending in your queries on Ask Profit. We'll be right back on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Hello and welcome back to Ask Profit, only on NDTV Profit, a show that gets all your stock-related queries answered. Today we have Prashant Tapse joining in on the fundamentals and Gaurav Sharma on the technical front. Welcome back, gentlemen. Just to go ahead, before we move on with the show, Dr. Reddy's Laboratories consolidated net profit rose by 22% in the fourth quarter of fiscal 2025, beating analyst estimates. The pharmaceutical company posted a bottom line of 1,593 crore rupees that compares with the 1,459 crore rupees estimate that analysts tracked by Bloomberg had projected for the counter. Here's what CEO of Branded Markets India and EMS had to say on their performance.
I expect the revenue taper down to happen in quarter 3. Revlimid is an important asset for us. However, we are working on several, I would say, growth levers so that we continue to grow the organization. As it happened in FY25, the base business growth. The second, of course, in terms of some of the critical, I would say, assets that we're working on other than the GLP-1s, the biosimilars in the form of abatacept to begin with. The third, of course, in how we would bring in more innovations to India and emerging markets. The consumer health portfolio that we have today, both in the branded markets as well as in Europe. And of course, we are also looking into opportunities on a constant basis as we are having a healthy balance sheet.
And now we have Maha joining us from Bengaluru. Hi Maha, good evening. Maha.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes. I have around 4,750 shares of Dhani Services.
Okay.
Which I bought at 60 rupees.
Okay.
And lately I've been incurring losses on it.
That's true.
I want to know, can I keep the position or average or sell? I can keep from 3 months to 1 year also if there is a good prospect.
Got it. Understood. So, Prashant, I'd like to come to you on this one. Maha from Bengaluru currently holds 4,750 shares of Dhani Services at an average price of 60 rupees a piece. And the stock is now trading around 52. What's interesting is that the stock not only has dipped from its buying price by 8 rupees per share thereabouts, but it has also slipped by a huge amount from its 52-week high of 109. What is going wrong with the stock, and could you tell us the reasons behind the headwind that the stock is currently facing, and what would your suggestion to Maha be?
My suggestion for him would be that he has already taken a high risk and high return stock. The stock has been very volatile from last 1 year, and we have seen that kind of high risk momentum in the stock. But again, with respect to fundamentals, again, the stock is not looking good. Even the company has slipped into losses in the month of March. December and September numbers were good, but I think the business which is into almost like into digital services of asset reconstruction, broking business and all, that is not doing good. That would be the one reason why stock will underperform for near term. As the investors already taken the risk, I think one should maintain a stop loss of at least 48 from the current level and then take it forward for short term to long term. But again, the risk would be very high even at this point of time. For me, if he is asking, so the stock would be avoid for me at any point of time, but already he has taken, so maintain a stop loss of 48 and then take a risk for long term.
Understood. Thanks for that view, Prashant. With that, we have a WhatsApp query. So Money has written to us from Rajamundri saying that he holds Enviro Infra shares, 2,000 quantity at 257 rupees. And he is sitting on a loss of almost 1,30,000 there. So should he be holding it for long term? And currently it's trading at 193, which is near its 1 year lows. So Gaurav, what suggestion do you have for Money?
I think stock is just not looking good. So it will be a clear outside, better to exit.
Understood. So that's a clear exit on Enviro Infra. If Money, you're watching the show right now, our experts are suggesting that you exit the counter. And Prashant, on the technical front, do you also hold the same view?
Yes, for a short-term period, I think there will be technically negative trend going forward. I think numbers are not expected to come good. Even if you see the Q3 earnings, they were not so good. Even EBITDA margins have been coming down from every quarter and quarter. But there is a limited data available in the fundamental numbers because of the recently listed stock. For me, the sector looks very good with respect to wastewater treatment, plant management, and all. There will be huge demand for the sector. But again, I would like to wait and watch for the Q4 earnings. If earnings still get negative in terms of growth, so I think a clear exit can be a better strategy. If he would like to take a stock as a risk for long term, I think 180 should be the clear stop loss for him.
Got it. And now we have another WhatsApp query. Prema has written to us from Bangalore. Her query is about UCO Bank. She's bought 1,000 shares of UCO Bank at 32.31 rupees a piece. She's asking whether she can continue to hold her positions for the next 1 or 2 years. Now, Gaurav, coming to you on this one, UCO Bank has been seeing some kind of weakness recently, especially today, because it's been trading ex-dividend. But what is your technical opinion on the stock?
Technically, the stock is just not looking good. It is looking weak. More downside is expected. I will recommend to switch to Canara Bank.
Okay, and Gaurav, why Canara Bank over UCO? Is there a specific reason why? Because PSU banking space has been seeing a lot of strength and traction recently. So give us, a clear explanation as to why Canara Bank over UCO from your end.
Perfectly. Firstly, Canara Bank valuation is low. Secondly, Canara Bank is just on the onset of a fresh breakout from above, 9,800 is a breakout zone. Once that is taken out, the stock will fly towards 110, 115 in the immediate near term. Even if I look at a little longer perspective of 6 months to 8 months type of time frame, or even a year's time frame also, the Canara Bank is looked upbeat and it is likely to head towards 125 and a fresh high as well.
Understood. Thanks for that view, Gaurav. With that, we have a WhatsApp query. So Sagar has written to us from Singapore saying that he holds 32 shares of MRF at 1.6 lakh rupees. He's looking for both fundamental and technical view on it. So he's also asking whether the tire stocks are gaining momentum. And he is sitting on a significant profit of over 10 lakh rupees there. So Prashant, on the fundamental aspect, what's your take on MRF?
Very positive with respect to the business model. Again, the way the company has performed well quarter on quarter, the stock looks really good for me. Even at the valuation terms, very comfortable to have this stock in the portfolio for a long term. Short term, you may see some kind of profit booking attempt due to the recent uptick. The stock has recovered from almost 1,10,000 rupees towards 140. So there can be some kind of profit booking due to market volatility. But again, if he's a long-term investors, continue to hold. My near-term target would be 150, 160 within 6 months to 12 months, and overall a target of 180 for more than 12 months.
Absolutely, because Anand Rathi also said that in its note said that they are positive on MRF, and while it's expanding its market share gains, and hence they've maintained a buy rating on the counter. Gaurav, on the technical front, what sense do you make of this counter?
Completely agree with what Prashant is saying, that some profit taking can be seen in the near term just because of a reason that the stock has already started its up move. A little back, it has continuously went up from 108,000 levels to 140 plus levels, currently trading around 136. So some more possibility of a little downside till 125 is pretty much possible. So even that should not be a worry for a long-term investor, and traders should consider adding up their position around that zone.
Okay, got it. And now we have Jacob. He is written to us from UAE. Is Jacob on the call, or is it a WhatsApp query? Okay. So we do not really know if he holds any shares of, ISGEC, but he's interested in it nevertheless. Prashant, I'd like to take this question to you. How does the counter look like to you?
Very positive, I think, only based on the valuations. I think it is trading almost like a very comfortable level with 2025 PE going forward, and even price to book valuations have been a good correction in the stock from last 6 months. So a stock anywhere between 1,000 rupees looks very good for me, both on the fundamental side as well as on the technical side. So I think the investor, if he is like to adding more, I think add more on the dips, but 1,000 rupees looks very good for me. Again, with respect to targets, again, near-term target can be 1180 on a trading basis. Again, on a fundamental 12 months holding, I think 1400 can be a target.
Understood. Thanks for that view, Prashant. With that, we have another WhatsApp query. Karthik holds 84 shares of Wipro at 260.79, and he's looking for both fundamental and technical view on it. So starting with you, Prashant, in the tech space, are you positive on this particular counter?
Yes, as a conservative investor, I would like to advise investors to have Wipro in the portfolio, both on the reason of very conservative business model, long-term consistent growth in the quarter-on-quarter basis. With respect to price action, again, very slow mover, but again, I think as a long-term investor, will get a good traction towards 6 months to 12 months. But with respect to valuations, again, very much comfortable to have at 19 P and price to book value of 3, which is below all the two big leaders like TCS and Infosys. So very comfortable to advise him to hold as a long-term investor.
Understood. Thanks for that view, Prashant. And, Gaurav, for a new investor who wants to invest in Wipro or the IT stocks, so are these the correct levels to enter? Because currently it's trading at 242.
I think one should wait for some more time before taking a position in IT stocks. This space might still take some more time to start their upward journey. It could be a week or maybe a month of more sideways, or maybe a little bit of negative movement. So I would suggest a new trader should avoid this space.
Okay, so it's an avoid on Wipro, and we have Sachin joining us from Kerala on the phone line. Hi Sachin, good evening.
Yeah, hi, good evening.
Please ask your question, Sachin.
Yeah, my query is on Motilal Oswal. So I hold 320 shares, an average price of 745.
Okay.
I'm looking for a 3 to 6 month view.
Okay.
So can I recover my losses in the short term?
Understood. And since when do you hold these 320 shares of Motilal Oswal, Sachin?
3 months.
Okay, 3 months. And you want to stay invested for the next 3 to 6 months. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Gaurav, how does Motilal Oswal look to you, especially after it reported a weak quarter? The stock has not been doing pretty well. In fact, Sachin from Kerala currently holds 320 shares at 745 rupees a piece. The stock has dipped down to 681. What would your suggestion to Sachin be, and how far do you think the stock can travel for the next 3 to 6 months?
Motilal Oswal is a financial services company, a stockbroker as well. So these companies have not done well in past 2 quarters, specifically just because market has not performed, so the brokerage revenues have dived. Therefore, there has been a weak quarter for this space and some other broking firms as well. Now, as the stock has already corrected from its recent top, that is, it has missed. The very recent top stands somewhere around 775 levels. Currently, the stock is trading at 680. So not much of a downside is expected. So it is better to hold. As the viewer can hold the position for 6 months. So another, I think, in the next 2 quarters, some bit of up move till 800, 850 zone can be expected. I would still say that he should take a stop at 575.
Thanks for that view. With that, we're joined by a caller from New Delhi. Hi, Chandan. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah. Please go ahead with your query, Chandan.
Yeah, my query is regarding Zagle prepaid OCM services. Right now, I'm not having any position in this particular stock, but I'm willing to build some position. So is it right time to enter at today's price around 340?
Yeah, and why have you picked up Zagle prepaid only, Chandan?
Because fundamental is really strong, and there is no competitor of this company, and this is SaaS-based company. Profit is generally very good every quarter except last quarter. And one reason is that Asif Kicholia has also invested in this stock. So combining all these factors, I am willing to build some position in this stock.
Yeah, I'm glad that you've done all your research there for your stock, and which is very good for any investor who wants to start their investment journey. And so, Prashant, I'll come to you. What advice do you have for Chandan who wants to invest in Zagle prepaid at the current levels? Because currently it's trading at 338. So are you optimistic on the counter?
I am very much positive on the business model. He has rightly pointed there are no competition in the business. What is into it? It is into financial solution providers for SME and other startups. So that space is really growing very fast. Obviously, that will bring a lot of business to him. But again, the recent fall from the price of almost like 500 and 550, it was the only reason was the high valuations at the time of December and January. So now I think valuations are very much near its overall short-term averages. But still, again, a stock trading at 60p, but with respect to the ratios, still I'm not comfortable to justify go ahead and buy the stock at these levels. There may be some kind of consolidation in the business as well as in the prices. So stock anywhere between 300 and 310 would be a good level to start accumulating the stock for long-term investors. So short-term there will be some kind of pressure, but again long-term looks very good.
Okay. So now we have Ramandeep on the phone line from Jammu and Kashmir. Hi Ramandeep, good evening.
Hello, good evening ma'am.
Good evening. My first question to you would be, Ramandeep, since you come from Jammu and Kashmir, are you safe, and what's the situation over there like?
Ma'am, with the sake of God, all my area is under safe zone, ma'am.
Understood. We hope for you to be safe, and Ramandeep, please, be safe and do not go to any crowded place, because with tensions escalating between Pakistan and India, I'm sure this is a scary situation for anybody living near border areas. Please go ahead with your question. How can we help you today?
Ma'am, I have bought Rupa shares at 302 rupees.
Okay.
The number of shares is 550. So, ma'am, please tell me.
Sure. Prashant, Ramandeep from Jammu and Kashmir has 550 shares of Rupa at 302 rupees a piece. The stock has tanked to about 185. That's significantly big of a drop that the stock has seen, especially from the buying price. What would your suggestion to Ramandeep be?
On a fundamental side, very decent company with respect to growth. Again, quarter on quarter, I have seen the company is growing its EBITDA margins as well as the volumes have been growing in the segment which is into. But after this correction, I think downside would be very much limited. Now the whole focus would be on the earnings. I think Q4 earnings should be the wait and watch for the client to see how the numbers are growing. If the numbers are growing with respect to volume as well as on the margins, so I would like to advise him to hold this stock for long term. But maybe again, the price of his cost may not come immediately. It's a hold call for more than 1 year, and I think first target should be a cost of recovery, and then later look at profits.
Understood. Thanks for that for that answer, Prashant. And with that, we have a WhatsApp query. So Shiv holds 300 shares of L&T at 3,335 rupees. So he's looking for both fundamental and technical view on it. And L&T was the stock of the day today, after posting good Q4 numbers, and order inflows were up 18%, exceeding 10% growth guidance, and also revenue and margins were in line, and net profit actually had beaten the estimates. So Prashant, on the fundamental front, this looks like a pretty strong counter. What's your outlook on the same?
I think again it's a proxy company to bet on Indian infrastructure. So one of the leading stock which has delivered the investors a long-term return and rewarded the investors like anything. So I think my advice would be continue to hold despite these market volatility. Today the stock has been up by 3 to 4%. That gives a lot of strength confidence for investors to hold the stock. On the valuation front, again, very comfortable to give a 25 to 26p forward and price to book valuation of 4. So I think any dip would be an opportunity to buy back the share again to its portfolio and continue to hold with a target of at least 36, 36.50 on a short term, and again 38 as a medium term to long term targets.
Thanks for that view. And Gaurav, like Prashant said, that any dip opportunity will be a good buying opportunity. So are you seeing any sort of dip in the short term?
If I negate the India-Pakistan position, then the answer would be no. But still that position lasts. So yes, the possibility of dip is there just because of the outside factor, not the internal factors that may directly come up with L&T. On the charts, the stock is looking very much upbeat. After today's up move, the stock went up nearly 4%. It was a volume-backed buying. The stock is looking upbeat. I see it heading towards 37, 3800 levels in the immediate near term. Any dip should be considered as a fresh buying opportunity.
Okay, understood. And now we have Prashant's query from Hyderabad. Hi, Prashant. Sorry, this is a WhatsApp query. Prashant has written to us from Hyderabad about holding 950 shares of Servotech Renewable Power. He currently holds 950 shares at 191 rupees a piece and is sitting on a loss of about 72,000 rupees. He has not really asked whether he wants to continue holding them or he intends to sell. But Prashant, what do you think about Prashant's holding of Servotech at 191? Because the stock did report, the company did report a very strong quarter, and while the profit jumped about 91%, do you think that will have any kind of push, on the stock price?
I don't think the result has given some kind of confidence for the investor. The stock is still trading very negative with respect to their business model. The company manufactures LED lights as well as the solar power manufacturer. Plus valuation still looks very expensive, 72 to 75 times P, and even price to book value is more than 12 times. So if you would like to have any other alternative stocks, there are a lot of solar power generation stocks like Tata Power, Adani Power, and also I think that would be very comfortably fundamental strong stocks to hold at this point of time. Even valuations are very much comfortable to buy more Tata Power as well as Adani Power. But time being fundamentally detailed, I have not tracked this company. But if you just see the few numbers, not comfortable to advise him to hold this stock at this point of time.
Understood. Thanks for that suggestion there, Prashant. With that, we have a WhatsApp query. So Aruna from Odisha holds 2,000 shares of Lakshmi Organics at 215 rupees a piece. She's looking for both the technical and fundamental view on the counter. She's sitting on a loss of over 87,000 there, over 86,000, nearly 87,000 there. So, Prashant, how do you see Lakshmi Organics positioning, itself compared to its peers like Pidilite Industries or an SRF for that matter?
So the main difference would be on the valuation as well as the growth margins. There are very much difference between the peers. So Lakshmi Organic is not giving such kind of strong EBITDA margin growth the way how other peers are giving at this point of time. But again, I think the industry is really strong, but still the China plus one strategy has not worked in India as of now. But if you consider me ask me for a fresh position at this point of time, I would not like to advise any investors to get into this stock at this point of time. Again, valuation would be the first concern for me, which is almost trading like 35p at this point of time. Again, when we compare with the other two stocks, peers, and I think valuations are still very expensive. The stock may come down to 150 levels. That would be a good level to at least a risky investors to start investing in the Lakshmi Organic.
Okay, understood. And now we have another query on WhatsApp. Rajan Iyer has written to us asking, he has a corpus of 2 lakh rupees and he wants to enter the markets. His simple query is that which stocks can he go ahead and buy at this given point of time? I will ask this query to both of you gentlemen very quickly. Prashant and Gaurav, I would want your view on whether or not it is the right time to enter the stock market given the conditions we are in. Prashant, first, take it over.
I think volatility gives a lot of opportunity for a fresh investments in India, and I think we have seen a lot of such opportunities in India from last 5 years. So I think if you would like to start with 2 lakhs, I think we should diversify it at least with 2 companies. I would like to advise him one, the SBI. I think there will be a lot of traction coming with respect to the sale of S Bank, which is just no news has arrived right now. So I think SBI would be the one stock I would like to be very much bullish with a target of at least 850 and 880 for a short term and 900 plus for the long term. Again, second stock I would like to advise more on the Tata Motors. Again, the environment is really good right now. The UK India deal and the US UK deal, which is giving a lot of positivity for the Jaguar as well as the Land Rover business model, which will have a lot of good sales going forward in India. I think 708, 7010 looks very good at this point of time. Short-term target can be 800, 820, and long-term can be 900, 930. So these 2 stocks I would like to advise him at this point of time. Both stocks looks very good in terms of fundamentals as well as price action.
So much for those recommendations, Prashant. And Gaurav, what would your top 2 to 3 picks be?
I would suggest him to go for the financial, the NBFC space. Shriram Finance can be a good pick here. The second one would be Bharat Forge. And the third stock that he can consider is Canara Bank.
Okay, got it. And Prashant and Gaurav, thank you so much for being so patient and answering all the queries with such valor. And we will see you again. And viewers, a quick note to you, you can continue to write to us on WhatsApp. We are also live on Ask Profit both in the morning as well as in the evening. So please do call in. And also stay tuned to NDTV Profit, as there's a lot more lined up for you right on the other side.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready.
For the first time during the ongoing conflict, Pakistan Army carries out daytime shelling and ceasefire violations across 3 sectors a few hours ago. The Indian Army responded in full measure, maintaining its defensive stance.
भारतीय वायुसेना ने अपनी प्रतिक्रिया में काफी संयम दिखाया और इस प्रकार अंतर्राष्ट्रीय नागरिक विमान सेवा की सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित की।
We would attack our own cities is the kind of deranged fantasy that only the Pakistani state can come up with.
India reveals Pakistan kept its airspace open while attacking on May 8th using civilian aircraft as shields. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri also condemns the May 9th strikes, calling them a new low as they deliberately targeted places of worship. The no time on airport closures has been extended until May 14th night, further impacting flight operations. The Nifty falls 1.4% over the week, while the Sensex drops over 1%. Nifty Realty was the top sectoral loser, declining nearly 7% during the week. As India-Pakistan tensions escalate, the NSE and BSE ramp up around-the-clock cybersecurity vigilance against potential threats. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman directs banks to stay fully alert, ensuring uninterrupted financial services amid any crisis. The State Bank of India will sell 13.19% of its shares in Yes Bank to Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Co. Satellite communication companies like Starlink may be required to pay 4% of their adjusted gross revenue as spectrum fees to the Indian government as per new TRAI recommendations. This fee is higher than what the firms had requested. And he does it again. US President Donald Trump floats cutting tariffs on China to 80% ahead of a weekend meeting as he looks to de-escalate the trade war. Good evening, you're watching Profit 360 on NDTV Profit. I'm Sanjana. It's our top focus this evening. During a briefing on Operation Sindoor, Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri condemned Pakistan's farcical denials of attempts to target Indian military installations, calling them a sign of duplicity. Meanwhile, Colonel Sofia Qureshi said Pakistan deployed 300 to 400 drones across 36 locations on the night of May 8th and 9th, with preliminary investigations identifying the use of Turkey's Songar drones in the strike. India neutralized the drones using kinetic and non-kinetic methods and successfully thwarted a Pakistan UAV attack on a military station in Bhatinda. Meanwhile, for the first time during the ongoing conflict, Pakistan Army carried out daytime shelling and ceasefire violations across 3 sectors a few hours ago. The Indian Army responded in full measure, maintaining its defensive stance. Since Pahalgam, all previous ceasefire violations were late-night or pre-dawn attacks.
भारतीय जवाबी कार्रवाई में पाकिस्तानी सेना को भी बड़ा नुकसान पहुंचाया गया। इसके अलावा पाकिस्तान का गैर जिम्मेदाराना व्यवहार फिर से सामने आया। 7 मई 2025 को रात 8:30 बजे एक असफल अकारण ड्रोन और मिसाइल हमला करने के बावजूद पाकिस्तान ने अपना नागरिक हवाई क्षेत्र बंद नहीं किया। पाकिस्तान अपने नागरिक विमानों को ढाल के रूप में इस्तेमाल कर रहा है, जबकि उसे अच्छी तरह से पता है कि भारत पर उसके हमले से हवाई रक्षा की तीव्र प्रतिक्रिया होगी।
Pakistan made the preposterous and outrageous claim that it was the Indian Armed Forces and the Indian Air Force that was targeting cities like Amritsar and trying to put the blame on Pakistan. This is nothing but a desperate attempt by Pakistan to disown its acts of aggression, but it is also true to type in its effort to deceive and mislead the world. It will not succeed. The Gurdwara in Punch in particular was attacked by Pakistan, and some local members of the Sikh community, including a Ragi of the Gurdwara, lost their lives in this incident, as I shared yesterday.
And to give us more perspective on Operation Sindoor, I'm now being joined by Captain Raghu Raman. Sir, good evening and thank you so much for your time. I'm going to dive right into it. I understand time is of the essence. We've been seeing another ceasefire violation by Pakistan, this time the first one, a daylight one. What are the strategic and operational implications for the army?
I can't hear anything.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now? We seem to have lost the line there with Captain Raghu Raman. We'll try and get back to him in just a moment. But meanwhile, some quick news coming in with regards to airlines and the airport closures. The NOTAM on airport closures has been extended until May 14th night, further impacting flight operations. Now, escalating India-Pakistan tensions have already led to an 11% drop in daily domestic air traffic amid the closure of 24 airports. Between May 9th and 10th, 670 routes will be affected, 334 incoming and 336 outgoing flights grounded. Srinagar, Chandigarh, Amritsar, Jammu and Leh remain the most disrupted locations. Let me quickly go back to my guest joining me this evening, Captain Raghu Raman. Good evening, sir. I hope you can hear me now.
Now I can hear you, yes.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. We've seen another ceasefire violation take place. This time it's the first daylight ceasefire violation since the escalation that has taken place. What are, in your opinion, the strategic and operational implications for the Indian Army now with Pakistan for the first time during this ongoing conflict carrying out daytime shelling and ceasefire violations across 3 sectors? And how does this escalation, met with a full defensive response by India, impact the risk of a broader conflict or civilian safety along the LOC?
Well, shelling along the LOC is nothing new. It's been happening for decades. Obviously, the intensity will now be more. And this is, if we don't get involved in the events per se and just step back and take a look at it from the longer life cycle of any war, it typically does start with a skirmish. It starts with some inflection point. Usually the inflection point by itself is not very important. I mean, when we look back even at the First World War, we were all taught that it was the assassination of the Archduke which started it, but that's not true. There were dozens and dozens of heads who were assassinated. That didn't start it. It was a fault line which was developing. And this is a fault line, and this fault line has not been resolved for decades. So in the classical sense, the fault line ignites with some incident that happens. Typically, it will be I mean, we have had several in the past. I don't want to repeat them. And then the crescendo is built up, and the crescendo reaches a point where either the 2 countries or either one of the 2 countries, or either both of them or the world at large, realizes that the spinning into a spiral larger than this is going to cause far more damage than the issue it will resolve. So eventually that pressure is applied. But of course, in the realpolitik of the world and the ambiguity of war, there is always a chance where these well-laid plans and calculations don't go the right way, even on the best of times, even during times of peace and good communication between both sides. We've actually had a missile which has by mistake or whatever accidentally been launched and landed there. And you can imagine what would have happened if, with so many moving parts across the entire ecosystem, if there is a slight miscalculation somewhere, then all the well-laid plans and the chess that we are playing can turn into a carom board like that.
Captain Raghu, then in your assessment, we just heard the MEA briefing actually taking place, and the forces coming out and revealing that Pakistan is in fact using civil civilian airlines as shields. What international laws or conventions are potentially being violated by these kind of tactics, and what recourse does India then have diplomatically or even militarily?
I think, Sanjana, we are both old enough to know that there is one set of rules that is talked about in the Geneva Conventions and the agreements and the Davos, and there is a reality which happens. This is the truth across our society. Our nice, glistening cities have the underbellies of crime and prostitution and illicit liquor. This is the reality of the world. It's not the reality of any one country. So firstly, when a nation clearly declares that we are going to use full spectrum doesn't mean just the nuclear option, as 90% of us seem to think. Full spectrum means cyber attack, narcos, terrorism, human trafficking, drug trafficking. You will use, a nation which has declared that we are going to use full spectrum will use the entire conventional. When we think about conventional warfare, we normally think of kinetic energy exchange, but it can be you could have with information warfare right now. You could introduce a run in the bank. You could introduce a frenzy in the stock market by false information. And honestly speaking, our media today is almost like a tower which is tottering. So a small push on it, it'll just totter into a information warfare frenzy. So full spectrum actually involves the entire gamut. It's not just referring to, and in that, our adversary will try everything that he has done in the past. He has used civilians as a shield. He has taken incalculable casualties by any accepted norm. He has refused to take back the bodies of their own soldiers. They have refused to do that in a country which is ruled by the army. So I think we are confusing some sort of a Queensberry rule of fighting with an adversary and expecting that an adversary will also fight with the rules of no civilian casualties. You can't use civilian aircraft being brought in the way of, and of course that hinders their own operations also. If they bring a civilian aircraft into their airspace, then very clearly that is a risk that they're willing to take even with their own operations. So I think we need to understand that the rule book by which the adversary is playing is very different from our rule book, and any violation of our rule book should not leave us indignant. It should leave us that this is the way he plays it. Now we need to find a way to maneuver it.
So you spoke about the markets, and the BSE and the NSE have ramped up their cybersecurity vigilance, including restricting foreign access and issuing advisories to market participants. What are the most significant cyber threats facing India's financial sector during a time with so much geopolitical tensions?
So, broadly, there would be 4 or 5 vectors of threats. And of course, there are many of my colleagues here who would be able to add more value to it in terms of saying that first, of course, this will be an opportunity attack for a lot of people who are self-styled, Pakistan or China for that matter, or any other nation that is inimical to us, Turkey, Iran, I don't know. So there would be one side, and by